Stop thinking.
I've seen you do it on video plenty of times.
Instead of 2, 2, 4, 2, 2.
Stop thinking and just go.
Just
go.
Yeah, just let it go.
Trust.
Ready. Stand by.
Still got 3 over here, but that was fast. That was a 2, 2, 3, 2, 2.
Noir Skills and Drills is a new training series I'm starting here on the channel. I've been blessed with being able to go to different training courses, but I know a lot of people don't have the same ability to go to these courses the way that I do. So Skills and Drills is my way of passing on some of the information that I've learned from these courses onto you guys. The skills and drills that will be featured are not meant to be the gospel on how to do things, but as a way to learn different techniques that you can incorporate into your training the way you see fit. Today's skill and drill is from my time at the Haley Strategic D5 Carbine course, where the instructors break down their technique on the best stance to take when trying to shoot a rifle fast while engaging multiple targets. Enjoy. This Skills and Drills is brought to you by Daniel Defense.
So I know for me, when I was starting off as a new shooter, one of the things that I kind of took for granted was my stance. I know people tell you a bunch of different ways how you're supposed to stand with a gun, and then there are all those people who are like, well, in a gunfight you're going to be standing a bunch of different ways, so you don't need to have a certain stance. From you guys' experience and doing what you've been doing, from the training and instruction and all the other experiences that you guys pull from, what is your position on that in terms of how someone should stand with a rifle in order to maximize that balancing act between being accurate with the gun, being fast with the gun, and managing that recoil?
So what's the root purpose of a stance? It's going to be stability behind the gun, providing a stable platform for repeatability, and then maximizing your potential for movement in any direction. So how do you create stability? If we look at the ways that people typically teach a traditional stance, those that are repeating that information never ask why. They were just told, this is how you do it. Whether it be in a law enforcement academy or in a military program of instruction, but we can do better than that. We can take so much other information from sports science and biomechanics studies and implement it into creating the perfect stance, not perfect stance, creating the most efficient stance for recoil management, recoil control, and then potential for movement.
Okay, so what does that look like? Does that mean, like, I know this gun, 223, 556, probably doesn't recoil that hard, but I mean, if I really want to get in, does that mean I need to be rigid, tight, and kind of get down in this kind
of... Well, we can test that. All Forget the gun right now. Right. Just hold your hands out, get rigid and tight. Okay. Hold your hands out like you're holding a handgun. All right. Okay, rigid and tight.
Before you finish watching this video, a word from our sponsor. Have you ever thought about making a living in the firearms industry? If you enjoy gun repair, ballistics, and learning about firearms, Sonoran Desert Institute's online courses might just be a good fit for you. To find out more, visit sdi.edu or call 480-999-4767 today.
So I'm just going to give a little bit of pressure on you and look at those toes.
Okay.
I'm barely pushing on you. And I can just move you around. Even if you're leaning into me, I just barely push. So is that a stable platform? Because you are squared off to the target.
I could probably get away with it with like maybe one shot. But I mean,
and then what's going to happen?
I'll probably inevitably I'm going to have to readjust or something.
Right. So how could you get more aggressive and more rigid?
All right. Would that be so? Like I know if I'm about to shoot a full auto or something like that, I kind of.
Why did you drop that foot?
To kind of use it as leverage to kind of push back against the recoil, so to speak.
There you go. So that's almost like a kickstand for leverage. Now, hold that pretend gun out, forget the rifle. Is that more stable?
Yeah.
Now, try bending your back knee a little bit. Does your stability go away?
Yeah.
Yeah, almost instantaneously. Even with you leaning on me, I was just putting a little bit of pressure. So if we think about maximizing your stability, how could you do that? You simply lean into the gun by a slight shift of that front knee.
Okay.
So think about being a straight line.
All right, so straight line and
right there. Now you're basically a straight line leaning toward the gun. There's no broken lines or broken angles. Straight lines are strong. Now, if we put that into practice with a drill like the 22422, do you typically run that drill at a relatively high rate of fire?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think your total time would be for those 12 seconds? 2, 2, 4, 2, 2. You've done it in the past.
I have. I don't remember the times though.
Okay, well let's test it.
Okay.
So we're gonna roll the 2-2-4-2-2, but we're gonna start with a warm-up, and it's gonna be 1 round. You can start on the left target if you like, or the right target, whichever you prefer, but most of the time right-hand shooters, especially newer ones, will always start on the left-hand side. Okay. So we're gonna start, it's just gonna be 1 round from the low ready on the timer, and then we'll just build up from there. So just listen to the instruction as we go on, and then we'll just build up from there. Okay. So from the low ready, remember that just in the stance we just talked about, so left knee a little bit more forward, because this is where the stance and the foundation comes a lot more apparent, and this is where it stands out and it's really tested on this drill, and this is why we do this. All right, so just 1 round and 1 round only. Stand by. All right, that was a 3-1. All right, now 2 rounds. 2 rounds, stand by. Okay, that was a 6-5. Your first round was 4-7, so your first round was slower this time.
Now, let's think about if you are actually, literally, deliberately training for a stance. Don't tear that stance down just because you come off the gun. So you set your stance to really control that recoil, deliver those rounds, and then just completely relax. Just drop the gun. Okay. And basically you're burning that into the subconscious what that feels like. Okay. Because we've all heard you're never going to get a perfect stance in a gunfight, right? Yeah. You may not get perfect, but do you think your body will default to what it knows? Gotcha. Or as close to that as it can possibly get in any given position? Okay. So we're trying to train our brain to default to that loading of the body and the feet. Gotcha. So once you set it, don't tear it down.
So the only thing we want to see is move is just the gun itself. Your head just stays. Think nose to the glass. Think there's a piece of glass against your nose, just like drawing a handgun, and your head doesn't move. So just the gun. So you can set yourself up for success by looking through and then down, and we're looking over. You should, ideally, with this target especially, see his hands to identify it, of course, as a threat. Right. So that is the ideal or the proper low ready. All right, so next we've done the 2 rounds, and now we're going to go 2-1. So this is the first transition. So 2 rounds and then 1 in the central target. Okay, stand by.
Stop, don't come off the gun, feel your stance. When you made that transition, your hips and your shoulders moved after your eyes, but did the load change on your foot? Yeah. Okay, you're feeling that is good. That's what we're wanting you to feel and detect.
Okay, so now we're going to bump it up a bit. So now it's 2-2. Stand by.
Good.
Okay, 105.
Knee moved a little backwards as that second shot. Okay, and what people naturally do when they transition like that is they'll load their feet correctly for that recoil management, but when they transition, they literally will transition and rock back on their heel a little bit. Then by the time you get to target 3, you're really on your heels because you're running the gun faster. Gotcha. Your foundation starts to come apart.
Okay, so now 2-2-4. Here we go, stand by. 1-6-2. So I'm just going to explain the splits real quick. So the first shot registered was a 4-8, and then 1-7, 1-7, 1-6, 1-7, 1-5, 1-6, 1-6. So that's what we're after. So imagine if someone else is on the side of that berm, it's almost like there's just one target. That's the aim here. Gotcha. And it did sound like there was only one target. So the splits were pretty much identical, every single on your cadence there.
Now, how did the gun track after that 8th round?
Well, once I kept that more or less tension where it needed to be. It felt more natural. I didn't feel like I actually had to run the gun, so to speak. Right. And so,
did the gun and the optics settle down in the center of that torso, or was it higher?
It settled more centered than
good, because your knee stayed loaded.
All right, so now that's the warm-up concluded. So now we're going to do the full drill. So 12 rounds, 2-2-4, 2-2. All right, here we go. Stand by.
I think that was a 2-2-3-2-2.
What?
It was 11 rounds. Okay, 2-11.
Sorry.
But so you just had to shorten your mags out there. I'm still going to say your split. So it was a 1-9, 1-4, 2-0. That's probably in the transition. 1-5, 1-7, 1-8, 1-6, 1-7, and 1-4. So your splits are absolutely great. It sounds like there's one target, and that's the goal here.
Did I hit 3 or 4?
2-2-3-2-2.
All right. So full drill again. All right. Stand by.
was 11 rounds.
Again?
Yep.
2, 2, 3, 2, 2.
Splits are averaging the same. You're at 1.7, 1.8.
Okay. All right. Let's...
Splits are dead on.
So this is a mental game at this point. This is me not being able to count.
Well, there is a lot of task saturation in here because it's kind of foundation built all the way up, and it's testing a lot of things. It's testing foundation initially, and most importantly, and then it's testing the recoil management, not control, because we can't control as such an explosion, what happens with the recoil, but we can manage it.
Gotcha.
So when we talk about grip in the later videos, then we'll talk about that. But this is a huge test of foundation and structure. All right, here we go. Full drill, stand by. 237.
That was 12.
Huh?
That was 12.
That was 12 rounds.
12!
Good.
And then the splits are the same. 1.4, 1.6, 2.20, 1.7, 1.4, 2.4.
2-0. Your finger was divorcing a little bit
from it.
And I really feel like if you will, when you finish, if you won't be so quick to come off the trigger, that predisposes you to come off a little bit in your transitions. So stay married to that trigger. Even don't let the speed at which you execute this determine the speed at which you finish and analyze what you just did and feel it all.
So if you look at these splits, you've got 1.4, then you've got 2.3. So what do you think happened? Exactly.
I'm coming off.
That's why it's made. And then 1.6, 2.0, you might have come off a bit more. 1.7, 1.7, 1.4, good. 2.4. That was either the finger or that was the transition to the target. And then 1.6, 1.8, 1.6.
All right.
Let's see if you can do a full 12 rounds twice in a row.
All right.
All right, here we go. Stand by. Yes, nice. Okay, 219, 12 rounds. Splits very consistent. Yep, very consistent. All 1.6, 1.7 the whole time. 219.
Yeah, your transitions were really good then. So, why do you think you maintain stability through those target transitions?
So, I think what happened is I changed the perspective you gave me. You had me think knees, which works in terms of keeping forward. But I think for me, when I thought toes, which naturally forces mine to be over my toes, that's why it made it easier for me to keep that positioning and make sure that I kept loaded in the front end versus the back end, because for whatever reason my brain just kind of processes it better that way. And so I'm like, okay, yeah, as long as I feel that weight on my toes, I feel in control, I feel fluid, I feel like I'm not being dominated by the firearm. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And the danger with any of these things in our deliberate practice is we just go through the motions and don't literally stop after we finish and literally analyze the structure of our body. He alluded to the fact that there's a visual cue. If you can even just look down and glance over your knee, and if you can see a little bit of your toe, that's typically loading the foot correctly for most people. If you can see your laces, then you probably rocked back.
And I think I said it wrong. When I say toes, I don't mean I was here.
Yeah.
It's like the balls, the kind of like.
But shifting the weight forward.
Exactly.
Versus being in the arches of the balls or arches of the heels.
Yep. No, exactly.
And yes, you said earlier, yeah, people think a 5.56 doesn't have a lot of recoil, and it doesn't for a single or even very slow rates of fire. But when you're running the gun that fast, it's going to, it's like the law of a little, but repeatedly, it's going to just keep pushing you off, and you're going to start losing rounds.
Gotcha.
So.
Okay. Well, appreciate that. Now I get to go home and do this over and over and over and over again and see what times I get. So what was my time? What was my last time on that one?
That was a 219.
219?
219.
Okay.
Yep.
I can live with that for now.
So next time we get together, you better be a 184 like Liam was.
Yep.
184?
184.
Okay.
It's on you.
All the ammo used in this video was brought to you by Nosler.
Stand by.
And yes, AR-15s are protected by the Second Amendment. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. It didn't say only handguns, it said arms. Guns aren't political. That's why I need your help getting this message to spread on YouTube by clicking the thumbs up button, leaving a comment to let me know what you think of the video, then subscribing to the channel. But most importantly, click that bell symbol. For products featured in this video, click the links in the description.